8686. First-time callers dial 1-800-449-8686. And the wildcard line is 1-800-449-8686. And now, here's Phil Hendry.
Delivering the book?
I have to deliver some rough drafts, yeah.
Good evening. Welcome to the Phil Hendry Show. My guest is Margaret Gray. She is a syndicated national columnist and is also the author of a new book on the human shields in Iraq at the beginning of the war. And the book is going to be interesting. I know you were part of the Human Shield organization. These are people who went to Iraq, just kind of enlighten us, to act as human shields against American bombs.
They were people that resisted, Phil, and still resist the Iraq war. Average Americans like yourself or myself or any of the people listening who went to Iraq and decided to join with the Iraqi people to basically say to George Bush, if you're going to drop your bombs, you're going to be killing Americans. And
is this book is due to be delivered when?
It's going to my publisher it's due to get to my publisher in a month. And I'm looking for the source of this quote.
All right, now the quote that you're mentioning is one that apparently comes from an American soldier.
It does, Phil, but I want to, before I get into that, I want to tell you, and I want to tell your audience, what the Pulitzer Prize is, because this is really what it's all about for any writer. The Pulitzer Prize is the highest award in the literary world. If you work in film, it's the Academy Awards. If you work in medicine, it may be the Nobel Prize. If you work in home construction, there are contractor awards. In your business, Phil, the Marconi, the Peabody. The Pulitzer Prize was named after Joseph Pulitzer. He was a Hungarian-American journalist and a newspaper publisher, and he believed so very much in the First Amendment. I really think this book, Phil, and I wouldn't say this if I didn't believe this, I really believe this can be my opportunity for a Pulitzer, which I have coveted since I was a very young girl, since I wrote my first stories on my father's Underwood typewriter. And it's for that reason that, and many other reasons, because I'm so very committed to the cause of the human shield that I write this book.
All right, I think it's admirable, and people should have goals. But I want to get to the book.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to give you some background.
All right, I want to get to the book. There was a quote you're looking for?
That is right, Phil. First of all, I was part of the Human Shield organization. I wanted to go to Iraq at the time. I did not go to Iraq. I was doing publicity for Roman Polanski on one of his films. I did talk with people who were Human Shields and came back, and I put together their commentaries in book form, and I do some narrative commentary in the book. I'm in need of the source of a quote that I did call Chris, and I asked if you would know.
Well, what is it?
The quote is, and there was an American soldier in Iraq in April of 2003 who was overheard as saying, after I shot my 10th child, I stopped counting.
Oh, God.
And I know. And I want to know if anyone knows the source of this quote, because I want to use it in a specific scenario in the book. In the book, I talked with Susan Bloomdale about her experience being a Human Shield, and she says, well, the conditions were bad in Iraq, and it made me appreciate America when I came back. And I say, I just want to read what I wrote. I wrote down what Susan didn't know was that at that time there was a soldier talking about stopping counting after shooting his 10th child.
All right, let me just stop you right there. The quote, after I shot my 10th child, I stopped counting, sounds utterly horrible, obviously.
Well, Phil, it does. And this is what happens. This is what has been created over these elections. My God, after we stop shooting children.
Yeah, but I really resent the idea that it's perceived that our soldiers are shooting children, okay?
Well, open up your eyes.
No, but what I'm asking, and pardon me, I'm probably not doing it very well, where is this quote from? What is the source?
This is why I'm calling you, Phil. It has been oft quoted. It is all over the news. The quote is, after I shot my 10th child, I stopped counting. It was in April of 2003.
I know when it was said, but where is it from?
Well, I need to find out the source, because when Susan makes her statement about coming to America and having a new appreciation, which sounds so brainwashed, really, I say in the book, and I'll read you what I wrote. This is the 5th chapter on the beginning of the Human Shield campaign. I write, But what Susan didn't realize was that at that moment, an American soldier was having his own fun, using Iraqi children for target practice.
You know, I want to say something. Even if an American soldier might have said something like that, and it isn't clear to me that it was actually said, it was probably taken completely out of context.
Well, Phil, I resent you saying that, because even if he said, this is a war where men lose their minds. And I don't know if you know about war, but men go mad. And I doubt very seriously that it would be repeated. So I'm looking for the source of that quote.
All right. Before you move on, I need to give out phone numbers and take care of the business of the show. Our number is 1-800-449-8686, 1-800-449-8686. And I am talking with Margaret Gray tonight, who is the author of a new book on the human shields. It's a book of commentaries and narrative. The people who went to Iraq at the beginning of the Iraq War and used themselves as human shields. And I know this is off the point, but I know a lot of them came home, didn't they?
Well, Phil, you know something?
No, a lot of them did come home. I mean, once they knew bombs were actually going to fall, they came home.
It was a statement of solidarity, Phil, and you make it sound as if there was some cowardice. There was no cowardice. They came home after making their statement. And
well, what was their statement? If they go over there to get, to stand with the Iraqi people and to take the raining American bombs, as you guys like to perceive, what was their statement in turning around and coming home?
Their statement was, if we were Iraqis, we would be here. But we're Americans. Of course we have to go home. But we're here as a symbol that we would be here. Well, you know something, you laugh, and I resent your laughter. I'm trying to find out the source of something, Phil. I am trying to...
All right, the statement that you are looking for, this is a quote.
It was said in April of 2003. I know that. It was said in Iraq. I know. And what was said was, after I shot my 10th child, I stopped counting. I simply want to know the name of the soldier, because I would like to quote him, and I'm sure there are war crimes charges that can be brought against him.
Well, you know what? If I knew that there was an American soldier who had shot 10 children, and it was a war crime, I would definitely have turned him in by now, and I wouldn't be turning him over to you for your book. That's number one. Number two...
What is the point of this?
The point is that I don't know that you repeating the quote, you don't have the source for it.
I am looking for the source. I'm completing the scenario in my book on the human shields.
How do we know he said this?
Well, I don't know how to dignify...
No, really, how do we know that this was said? How do we know this isn't some kind of an internet rumor?
Phil, war is a horrible thing, and men say things and do things in war that would make you vomit. Now, I don't know what you know about war, but I have been, along with a lot of different film crews, in countries where wars were fought. And men go out of their minds. They lose their minds. A man gets into uniform.
Hold on for a minute. I've talked to veterans of combat who were disciplined all the way through. It was horrible, but there was no lack of discipline. There was no lack of what they knew what they had to do, and they did their job. And
Phil, you talk to veterans, huh? When a man gets into a uniform and picks up a gun, he goes insane. All he wants to do is shoot and kill. And
no, he does not.
You don't know what? That's what they teach our Marines.
The Marines are guys that go out and get the job done, but they're not. Look at it. We're going to have an argument. I don't want to refight the Iraq War, okay?
Well, I don't either, Phil. The war is the tragedy that it is. I want to find out who said this. I want it in my book. And I know there's someone out there in America that knows.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Danielle, go ahead. You're on the Phil Henry Show.
Hi, I'm glad to be on. First of all, ma'am, I'm just highly insulted that the first thing you talk about is the fact that this book you see as winning your Pulitzer Prize. The first thing is you seem to be a little bit arrogant, and that the first thing you do about writing your book is you're going to win an award.
Goals. I've got goals for myself. Don't you have goals for yourself?
Oh, absolutely, but I'm not going to get on radio and start talking about this book is going to win myself a Pulitzer Prize.
I'm talking about a dream I have. My God.
Fabulous. Second thing, ma'am, please do not categorize all of our soldiers as haphazardly walking around shooting kids. Our soldiers, collectively, as you proclaimed on our radio, do not walk around and just haphazardly start killing children.
Well, do you know who
apparently think?
I'm looking for the source of this quote.
The point that I'm trying to make is that it might not have been said. It might be one of those internet rumors. It might be something from Vietnam. Did you think about that?
Phil, I'm not here to debate this war with you. This young lady, do you know who said it? I'm addressing myself to the young lady.
Yeah, go ahead.
Who said, do you know the source of the quote, after I shot my 10th child, I stopped counting?
Ma'am, you seem to be so hung up on this one quotation. Do you know we have over 150,000 soldiers in Iraq? How many other hundreds of thousands of soldiers around the country? How many hundreds of thousands of soldiers do we have all over the United States, all over the world?
Danielle.
And you only concentrate on one quote?
Danielle.
You denigrate our soldiers.
Wait a minute. You said
should be ashamed.
You said 150,000 soldiers, right? All right. 150,000 soldiers times 10, that's 1.5 million children, have been killed since...
Oh, come on!
You are ridiculous.
No, I am simply saying...
You're out of your mind.
I am saying what if. That's all. We do know that one soldier said that he killed after his 10th child he stopped counting.
We don't know that he said that. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Oh, my God, you're still on about that, huh? We don't know.
Okay, ma'am, I killed one squirrel with my car. Oh, my goodness, 250 million people live in this country. 250 million people have killed squirrels. With your irrational...
No, only people with driver's licenses. Only people with driver's licenses.
Ma'am, you cannot use statistics and twist them around to make your illogical points like that.
But
you
Danielle,
cannot use statistics like
Danielle,
that.
this is Phil. I want to mention something else that is not being addressed by my guest.
Well, by the way, just to interject, I love being ganged up on by two people, 2-1. That's really fair. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm not ganging up.
I think I'm making a perfectly valid point.
Look,
you
I
cannot
want to
use
say
statistics like this.
This is not even a statistic, though. This is a quote that you can't find the source for, and you've looked for it, haven't you?
Don't tell me that it wasn't said, because...
You don't know if it was said. Somebody who hates our mission in Iraq might have just concocted this and started circulating it. Do you know the stuff I get on the internet, on email every day? People's claiming this is true and that is true. I look it up on Snopes or something. Turns out to be bullcrap.
Phil, your agenda is very clear. You support George Bush and his war. I, on the other hand, was a human shield.
You didn't even go over there as a human shield. You worked with Roman Polanski on a movie.
Isn't he out of the country because if he stepped in this country, he'd get arrested because he's a pedophile?
He had sex with a girl. Yes.
Underage, so you've got great causes.
Are you saying now that anyone that is against the war believes in having sex with infants?
Ma'am, you're entitled to your opinion.
Why not?
Obviously, you're entitled to your opinion. That's why we live this country.
Hey, but you know what? Why not? Why not say that? Since every American soldier kills children, then anybody who is against the war in Iraq has sex with infants. Yes, that's right. And I'm going to write a book based upon that.
You really better watch it, because a slander lawsuit, Phil, is something you don't need.
Well, I'm being as absurd as you.
Because you can't
now,
use
who am I talking
logic.
to? Who am I talking to now?
Phil?
Who am I talking to now? Phil or Phil's daughter?
She's not my daughter.
Well, the two of you are ganging up on me like she is.
All right, look at Danielle. Thank you. I got to take a break. Thank you very much for your call. 1-800-449-8686.
And your crack about people who are opposed to the war in Iraq getting their jollies with something in a diaper.
I think it's as crazy as you saying what you're saying.
Phil, everyone knows the quote, and I'm trying to find out the source. I was a human shield. And yes, the Pulitzer Prize is at stake. I don't think there's something wrong with me talking about my dreams.
All right, 1-800-449-8686. Margaret Gray with us, who is writing a book about the human shields in Iraq and wants to know the source for the quote of an American GI allegedly said, "After I shot my 10th child, I stopped counting." It's the Phil Hendry Show.
Phil Hendry Show. 1-800-449-8686.
There's braces for your teeth and a busted Dollywood if you'll shut up.
Phil Hendry Show is back. 1-800-449-8686.
What's that?
All right, Margaret Gray with us, 1-800-449-8686 on a book you're writing.
Phil, I just wanted to jump in and say...
You're writing You're writing a book on the human shields, people who were in Iraq at the beginning of the war. I'm not even sure about this human shield campaign, what this supposedly was, because I don't think they were serious about anything.
Phil, I can tell you they were very serious.
Well, they all packed up and came home as soon as the bombs started falling. That's number one. But number two...
Your pro-war agenda is not what we're talking about. We're talking about...
Can I make my point?
We are talking about, and I'm very sorry to the lady that called in, that I chose to share my dream with the audience. My dream, yes, is of a Pulitzer. This is the Pulitzer Prize. If I can find out the name of this GI that said he enjoys shooting babies... I'll tell you right now, it's a Pulitzer Prize.
He didn't say he enjoys shooting babies. The quote is, after I shot my 10th child, I stopped counting. And again, I don't even know if it was said.
So you're calling me a liar. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
I'm not calling you a liar. You are believing...
You are calling me a liar. I believe it was said. You don't?
No, I don't.
Then you're calling me an unmitigated, bald-faced liar. And I thought we knew each other a little bit too well.
I don't believe I'm calling you a liar.
Well, I think you are.
Here is Alan. Alan, go ahead. You're on the Phil Hendry Show.
Hey, I was just wanting to make the point that even if the quote was said, we don't know what the quote was about. You're kind of taking it out of context. I mean, possibly somebody could have been asking him about the war he's fighting over there, and he's saying these are actually kids that have guns, and we're having to shoot back.
Well,
and after I killed the 10th kid, I lost count. And
so in other words,
it's not that he's shooting
so he did
innocent
say
kids
he
that are
shot
just
children.
standing out there. It might be kids with guns that he's having to shoot at.
Wait a minute. What are you saying?
This man agrees with me that the soldiers are over there shooting children. All right?
I'm saying, just like in Vietnam, they found out that a lot of the soldiers themselves were only like 13, 14, 15-year-old
so
kids.
So you do know
that
this
were
for a fact.
To fight.
All right, good. What is your name?
The same thing might be happening in Iraq. These are
what is his name?
kids that have machine guns that are shooting at all the soldiers.
Alan, your name's Alan, right?
Yeah.
Can I follow up with an interview since you seem to have knowledge of this?
Can you follow up with an interview with me?
Yes. Do you have knowledge of children being used as practice dummies of anything that...
Practice dummies?
I didn't say anything about practice dummies.
Well,
I was talking about kids that are being,
were you in the Army?
being handed guns and being told that, we're the enemies and being trained how to fight.
I have a question to ask you.
Don't take what he's saying out of context.
I know. I have a question to ask him. Alan, I want to ask you this. No one knows who you are, and you're safe. Do you